For a while, I really struggled with portrait painting. Let's be honest, I still struggle with portrait painting. I used to paint in a lot more of a cartoony style, a comic booky style, so when I wanted to start painting more accurately, more realistically, it was really difficult for me. And I think part of the problem was I didn't know who to paint. I was too scared to paint my friends and family for practice. I didn't have the skills, and I was terrified that I'd hurt their feelings from showing them a painting that didn't look anything like them. So I started doing a bunch of self-portraits, and I got pretty tired of doing that. I needed another way to grow as an artist, a way that would give me unlimited possibilities and really good quality references. And that's when I decided to start using stock photos online, and it was the best decision I ever made. I would just hop on Google, then scan through the endless possibilities. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to use stock photos. And if you follow this video, your portrait painting will improve rapidly. I'm going to be painting 2 different portraits from stock photo references in this video today. And as we do this, I'm also going to show you some stock photo paintings that I've done in the past. Before I share with you how I use stock photos for exercise, I really need to share with you my perspective on how I see stock photos. First, I see stock photos as an exercise, not final paintings. These paintings are purely meant for practice. They aren't going to be sold. In fact, you're not supposed to sell paintings based off of stock photos without permission from the source. So when I use stock photos, I know that there are going to be ways for me to practice, and that takes a lot of pressure off of me. Second, these paintings are small, not large. These paintings are usually pretty tiny. The ones I'm going to show you here are only 4 by 5 inches. This lets me paint these portraits faster. I fail faster, I learn faster, and I discover faster. It gives me more reps into the painting process. Third, these paintings are quick, not time consuming. In the 2 example paintings I'm doing today, each one took only about 30 minutes to paint. I'm not trying to make these the magnum opus of my painting because I know that's not what they're meant for. Now sometimes if I'm really trying to hone in on a particular skill, I'll spend a bit more time on one, but usually I don't paint these stock photo reference paintings more than 45 minutes or an hour. It goes back to that idea that the more of these I paint, the faster I'll grow as an artist. I can get more reps in, I can train my hands, my eyes, and my brain how to paint, and to get better at the portraits that really matter in the future. And finally, these paintings are fun, no pressure. If a painting doesn't go the way I want it to, oh well. I learn something new from every single painting I do, whether I think it's successful or not. And since these are just for practice and not being sold, I'm not worried about perfection. I'm just here to have fun, and that relieves a lot of weight off my shoulders. So with that out of the way, let me show you some of the things I do to practice whenever painting from stock photos. A lot of times I practice trying to capture the likeness of a reference photo. Since I want to improve on painting people, I will often practice capturing the likeness of a person. That means I'm working on accurate proportions, learning the planes of a face, eye shapes, mouth shapes, everything that comes with that. And sometimes it doesn't go too well, like this complete horror show, but other times it goes pretty great, and I'm really pleased with how they turn out. When I'm really focused on getting the likeness, these paintings are usually the ones that take a bit longer. And not just in the painting phase, but also in the pencil drawing phase. That's where art really starts, is whenever you're sketching out the drawing before you even put paint on the paper. I also really like to practice color theory and color combinations with these type of paintings. I really like limited palettes. I think they're a really great way to learn color theory and to understand your paints. I'll probably have a video on that in the future sometime because it's something I think is really helpful. But with stock photo paintings in particular, I'll usually take 3 or 4 colors to see how they interact on the page with each other. It's amazing how changing just even one of the colors slightly will create a dramatically different result. So as you can see on a lot of these paintings, I have a list of the paints I used for a certain stock photo painting. Whenever I come back to these, even years later, I can see exactly what colors I use, and that may even give me inspiration to use these colors again in other portraits. These portrait paintings are also a really great chance to mess around with different styles of painting. Sometimes I want to push the way I paint because I'm kind of just going through the motions with my painting, or I see a video of someone who paints a certain way or uses this really incredible style, and I want to try it out and try and replicate it. So I'll test different layering styles, wet and wet interactions, things like that with these stock photo portraits. I did this with a painting of 4 brothers that I'm showing right now. In reality, these were actually all the same stock photo reference, and I just did a really bad job replicating the likeness, so it looks like four brothers instead of the same person over and over again. The point is, I wasn't worried about likeness here. I just did a really quick sketch as fast as I could so I could just move on and start working on the actual painting process. And so I messed with the different ways to layer colors. I messed with letting layers dry and then put another layer on. Sometimes I messed with trying to just paint all in one layer and see how it worked. The last thing that I will often do with stock photo paintings is test different techniques on them. There are some times where I don't feel comfortable using a certain technique that I may have learned pretty recently, maybe because I'm not very consistent with it, or I just really don't know how to replicate it well. And so these stock photo paintings give me an opportunity to test techniques in a safe space, in a place where there's no pressure, so that way I can prepare for future, better, final paintings that I'm going to hopefully give away or use or sell in some fashion. On these particular paintings that I did today, the one thing that I really wanted to focus on was how I can use a background that will complement the painting. So I would spend a lot of time here preparing the backgrounds in a way that can be useful for the painting portrait. With this one, I really like the idea of how the shadow of the figure could become an abstract background. So I use abstract marks on the right side, and on the left side I connect that into the shadow shape. And then the other one, I thought it would be beautiful to have this really bright, vibrant red. And then what I end up doing later is I go back in and I give some real red complements into the skin tone, and it really brings it all together. Portrait painting can be really tough, but if you can put in enough practice and know how to exercise intentionally, everything starts coming together before you know it. So the next time you're struggling to figure out who to paint, try painting from a stock photo. Take the pressure off and do some of these exercises I taught here. It just might be the thing that'll take your art to the next level. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you found something in it useful, please leave a like and subscribe to keep an eye out for more videos. And let me know in the comments if there's something you'd like to see from me in the future, or if you tried out one of these exercises.